Hi everyone. I don't know if I can follow this whole, and and the Pringles are still there, so I'm not sure what's coming at me. It's really a privilege. Thank you so much for having me. So I am Anca. I'm a lecturer at the University of Limerick, and I'm Romanian. I mean, yes, Romanian lecturers. Yeah, and. I'm also a Metallica fan, right? I mean, this is really like lecturers, actually rockers, all complicated. It's crazy out there. So I'm also a psychologist, and no, I cannot read your mind. Right? I mean, this is usually what you get. You go to a party, what you do? I'm a psychologist. Can you read my mind right now? I'm like, no, that would be crazy. This is exactly what we don't do. We don't read your minds because we know that you are all very different. And that's what I want to talk about today. What about difference? Yeah? And psychologists actually know a lot about difference. Okay, we are really different from each other, and this is really quite exciting. Okay. So what do I want to tell you about difference? Well, the thing is, it's very easy to see this difference in your own group. So, for example, some comedians are funnier than others, I can say this because now I'm one of them, so it's kind of, I can see there's differences, there's layers, If you're not a comedian, you think, oh my God, those people, they're just funny, right? So you put like this label on them, comedian, funny, and you kind of think they're all the same, right? I mean, we are quite different over there in that corner. We are really great as well, right? So we have this tendency about our own people, we see a lot of difference and we think great about ourselves. But when it comes to other groups, they're all the same, really. Usually also more stupid, below us, inferior, we're on top, and they are all the same and stupid at the same time. So sometimes it's like, I think that, these guys, they make movies, the Disney guys and the Oscar people, they actually know more psychology, okay? Because imagine these movies with spaceships, right? When the spaceship comes, it comes to threaten you. And what threatens you? Well, the spaceship is full of robots, and they are all the same. I mean, there cannot be something more intimidating than thinking that the spaceship is coming at you and they're all the same and they're just going to eat you or something, And actually, this is what we do all the time. I'm sorry that our traveler comedian left because this is actually what I also do research about. And it turns out that this is something that in psychology we have a name for. We have a name for everything in psychology. We don't have other things to do, So outgroup homogeneity, right? So you see this outgroup as homogeneous. They're all the same, right? And in Ireland right now, if you do research with settled population and you ask them about the travelers, if a person thinks that all travelers are alike, are the same, they are more likely to be prejudiced against them. But if you have met different kind of travelers, if you came to the comedy bright club tonight, if you kind of sense that there is individual difference, then you're actually more likely to accept a traveler as a neighbor or as a work colleague or so on, right? And this happens with spaceships as well, really, because, it's like, okay, this spaceship is like full of red robots, they are angry and they like to eat chili or something, I don't know, red robots like. And then, this spaceship is full of yellow robots. And they like the sun, and sometimes it goes wrong and they turn orange. This is a very Irish thing. Sometimes it does not happen in Romania, We like the sun too. Okay, so talking about spaceships, right? Generally speaking, we look around the world and we kind of look at the world as if it's full of different spaceships and they all have different colors, And another way to look at this is to look at culture, okay? So this is what I also do for a living. I sometimes do this intercultural competence training, So how do you get people to stop thinking about the spaceships, and to actually start to see that individual difference, okay? And it's really nice because what you really discover is that actually the red robot, the many of them, they really like different things. One likes to take supremacy of the world and the other one likes to listen to rock music. And the yellow ones, some of the yellow ones also are Metallica fans, I like those ones. They're my people, And others really don't want to be there at all, So we forget that, even within the same spaceship, even within the same culture, the individual difference is larger inside that group than between the group. So this is what we usually do in these trainings, and it's a lot of fun because people realize that your Irish friend is more different than you are different from a Japanese. And usually you tell people, the Japanese, they are spaceship number 7, they are really different, we don't even know what color they have. But and then you realize through these trainings, actually you have much more in common with people that you didn't think you have anything in common, So of course we have a sophisticated name for this as well, intracultural variety, like intra, inside, and inter, like between cultures, between spaceships. So it's very hard with all these names, you get very lost, But the point is, individual difference rules. Okay, no matter what other labels you might put on people, no matter what other spaceships you might put people on, actually people just differ from each other, right? Also, you know more about the people close to you. Like, for example, do you know what your neighbor listens to? What kind of music are they into? Yeah, of course you do, because they sometimes organize parties and uncomfortable, especially if you're not invited, which happens with me and my Polish friend. I live next to a Polish person, and sometimes, you don't know what they're listening to, really. And sometimes I listen to salsa music too, because I'm a complex individual, right? And actually, in the intercultural trainings, that's something really interesting to do, Try to dance with someone that you don't know, right? And try to dance on a song or on a music that you don't know. Oh my God, you discover you have 2 left legs. And you know what? Actually, you get into a rhythm. It's really funny. So I like to do this with people, watching them dance. It's really funny. It's actually funnier than the Bride Club, because you just don't expect, people are really, woo, you're in my personal space. Oh, what to do now? And it takes about 10 seconds. And people join in the dance. Yeah, so it's actually really in our ability to find the common color, to find the common kind of radio wave with people, if we just engage in that, in the here and now with this person that we're dancing with, rather than us over here and the spaceships over there, right? Now, if you now have this image in your head of, the world is full of spaceships, different colors and so on, you're watching too much TV, baby. It's like, get over it. Okay, but the point is, what spaceship are you guys on, right? So what color are you wearing? Who decided this? Did you decide this color? Eh? And what I also do when I have nothing else to do, of course, is I do research on protests and social movements and collective action. And what we discovered there is that norms and values are really powerful in uniting people, right? Sometimes more powerful than established identities like ethnicity, nationality, things like that, right? So what I'd like to propose to you tonight, okay, is that we are all rainbow colored, okay? So if you imagine this new spaceship that you have the power to make, if you only define this color in a multicolor kind of way, you will actually make a big difference, because that individual difference makes a big difference in the world, right? And I don't know how to make this more funny than it actually is, because it's actually meant to be quite serious and, let's go and protest people, it's really about social movements and stuff. And but the point is the Japanese, I keep talking about them, they have this nice saying, right? And they say, 10 people, 10 colors. And, I really like that, because it's like, different strokes for different folks. English is not my native language, so I won't even bother you with a Romanian translation of that, because, it might go, but remember that, remember this power of individuality, right? And now, coming back to the rock thing, you know how rockers, they bang their heads, I used to do this quite a lot. Something might have moved there, which is why I am where I am right now. But, the point is they all think that they are very different, because every rocker has a different hairstyle, even if they all have long hair. And then, they bang their heads as if they are like leaving it, And there's actually the same rhythm. So what I like to leave you with is this idea that difference really rocks, okay? It makes our world much more beautiful, it makes the dance more interesting, and it really makes the world go by, yeah? Because imagine if we were all rockers, right? Who would set the stage? Right? So it's also necessary, it's beautiful and it's necessary. And on this line that, difference rocks, I think it's also quite funny to come to Bright Club and see a psychologist who tells you to dress up in rainbows and rage against the machines, right? Against the spaceships. So, yeah, I think I'll stop there. Okay, thanks.
Great, thanks very much. Anca!